Today's lecture is on Chapter 6, Police Culture, Personality, and Stress. This chapter covers what some refer to as a distinct police culture or subculture and a distinct police personality. Research indicates that this is actually accurate. When you hear the terms police culture or subculture, what comes to your mind? Our text suggests that this is a combination of shared norms, values, goals, career paths, lifestyles, and occupational structures that is somewhat different from those held by the rest of society. For example, if you know any police officers personally, you may have recognized that they tend to associate or spend their free time with others in law enforcement. This can create somewhat of an isolation from society. Imagine if after work you spent your free time talking about work, and then eventually you may forget that there is a whole other world out there, not filled with problems, violence, and all the things that police encounter on a daily basis. This can lead to stress on the officers and likely contributes to the high suicide rate among police officers. One of the police personalities emerges as what is referred to as the blue wall of science. Blue wall of silence. In essence, this is officers protecting each other from outsiders, meaning non-police officers, and can even involve officers refusing to talk to their superiors about a fellow officer when they are being investigated for a wrongdoing. The blue curtain, on the other hand, is a concept developed by William Wesley that asserts that police officers only trust other police officers. These personalities are developed by police through the police socialization process. The Dirty Harry problem. This is a moral dilemma faced by police officers in which they may feel forced to take certain illegal actions to achieve a greater good. There's a story about how this term came to be on page 168 in your textbook. So please make sure that you read that. Getting back to police stress, though. Police routinely face stress by the very nature of their jobs, much more so than that of other careers. So what is stress? Stress is your body's reaction to internal or external stimuli. In high stress situations, we have what is known as the flight or fight response. Although your book doesn't mention it, I would also add freeze to that. And what this means is, if you've ever been in a situation where it was high stress and something caught you off guard, you weren't prepared for it, how did you respond? Did you freeze? Did you run? Or did you fight? And so in police work, this is common. Say an officer gets attacked. We never know how we're going to respond to those situations until we're in it. I've personally been in situations as a probation officer where I've had my partner freeze or fight. I've never had my partner flight or run away from a situation, but I have encountered the person who freezes. And what that does is cause a problem for you because now you have to handle the situation yourself. The fight response is also not always appropriate, but there is a time and place for it. For example, if someone's attacking you, you're going to need to respond immediately and you're going to need to protect yourself. So I hope that makes sense for you. Your book goes into a little bit more in depth about that, but flight or fight is what it refers to, and then I add in the freeze piece, which you'll see if you do research on this outside of your textbook. You will see the freeze response as well. So police suicide is another major issue in policing that unfortunately we have to talk to, and it's closely related to police stress. Studies show the suicide rate among police officers is much higher than that of those in the general population. So that tells you that there's something in police work that is causing officers to kill themselves at a much higher rate than other people. So your book suggests that some of these reasons could include access to firearms, continuous exposure to human misery. Imagine going to work every day and seeing people at their worst and having to come up with solutions, or maybe not having a solution. and having to walk away from a situation. Shift work. Imagine the stress that having to work third shift might have on your family, if you have a family. Not being able to see your kid, not being able to see your spouse on your days off. You're used to sleeping during the day, so your days off don't really help you at all. The social strain and marital difficulties, drinking problems, physical illness, impending retirement. Now, some of you might wonder, well, how could impending retirement cause someone to commit suicide? Well, imagine if you've been a police officer your whole life and all you did was work, 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 and you faced all this trauma on a daily basis. And then one day you retire and it's supposed to be the best day of your life. But now you don't really know who you are anymore because you were defined by your work. And this can happen in other fields, but it's much more predominant in police work. A lot of retired officers don't stay retired. They'll come back to police work in some fashion because they don't know who they are outside of it once they've dedicated so much of their life to it. Also, the book mentions lack of control over their jobs and personal lives. Add to this the intrinsic danger of police work, and you may wonder why anyone wants to be a police officer. There is a book in your overview section. A video in the overview section I want you to watch. And then this chapter also has a knowledge check. So if you have any questions about chapter 6, please feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching.